system set up called drawbridge. And every night, part of my job before I go to bed is I go through those pictures and I count the number of people that have set off those cameras that are walking through Kinney County. Last month, we had 4,350 some odd. Month before that, 4,200. So far for the year, over 10,000 people have walked through Kinney County uncontested. Nobody's touched them, nobody's seen them since we've seen them on camera. We are under siege.
That was Kinney County, Texas Sheriff Brad Coe talking about all the illegals that he doesn't catch coming through his county, and the numbers are staggering. Today, he was joined by fellow sheriffs and judges from border counties in Texas who have finally had enough. These leaders from Goliad, Kinney, and Uvalde, they openly declared an invasion coming at our southern border, and they have urged Attorney General Ken Paxton and Governor Greg Abbott to do the same. Joining me now is former acting director of ICE and former Border Patrol Chief Ronald Vitello. Ron, thanks so much for being here tonight.
Jen, glad to be on Prime News. Thank you.
Hey, so one of the attorneys present today, Brent Smith, he wrote an op-ed spelling out what's at stake here. He wrote, quote, "The state of Texas as a sovereign political entity has the inherent authority to enforce its own borders and protect its citizens. Article 4, Section 4 of the U.S. Constitution guarantees that the federal government shall protect each state of the union against invasion. It is not voluntary." Let me ask you, what is keeping Governor Abbott from listening to his community leaders? And do you think this will compel the Biden administration to do their jobs?
Well, something should compel this administration to do what they're supposed to do. Those county judges, those sheriffs, they took an oath to protect their communities. And what you saw in that press conference was their frustration for this administration abandoning their responsibilities to the southwest border and to protect the citizens of Texas. Now, whether Ken Paxton or Governor Abbott do more than they're already doing, that's a matter of litigation. That has to be hashed out in the court. But you can see the frustration in those judges and those sheriffs down there because they understand what's happening. Texas is on the front line. We've seen 1.5 million apprehensions, encounters by CBP so far this year. And what the sheriffs were talking about is all the people that the CBP cannot arrest because they're overwhelmed by the surge of humanity on the border. And despite the help from the Texas Department of Public Safety and some of the other states, they've taken this on in the courts with some success. But this administration has abandoned their responsibility. They took the same oath that those sheriffs took. And they're derelict in their duty to protect us all.
Yeah, and these migrants coming through know it. The cartels know it. It's amazing when you go down to the border and you just watch these people strolling across in mass numbers, not concerned about being captured. They know they're going to get in. They know the red carpet's going to be rolled out for them. And there's a new study that came out of the UN declaring that the U.S.-Mexico border is now the deadliest land crossing. I mean, doesn't this support the idea that there's an invasion down south? I mean, it's a humanitarian crisis, and the administration still goes about its business as if nothing has changed.
Yeah, just think about it. You're talking about places like Iraq, Afghanistan, other parts of the third world, and they're saying the southwest border is more dangerous than the rest of the world. It's incredible. When you have this kind of volume, when you have this kind of dereliction that the administration has given us an open border, right? They've encouraged all of the third world to come to this border right now. When you have that kind of chaos, when you have that kind of volume, everybody suffers. Those communities suffer. The men and women of TS and their families are super stressed out. Look what's happening to them. Every day they're being overwhelmed. The border communities, our public health system, and the destination locations, right? Some of these migrants are going to settle in the worst neighborhoods in our country. They're going to be picked off by the very same cartels that they're fleeing home to get away from. This is a terrible situation, and it's all. Let's talk about the root cause. This administration wants to ignore crisis. They want to talk about root causes. They want to talk about everything but what their responsibility is. The root cause of this problem is them abandoning the policies that were helping abate the last surge that we had on the southwest border, which ended in 2021. When this group took over, they had decades-long activity at the southwest border, and within weeks, they pitched overboard those policies, and now we're seeing the worst surge ever. It lays at their feet, despite the fact that the brave men and women at DHS are out there trying their best, but they are completely overwhelmed.
No question about it. And certainly it's not a Trump problem. It's a Biden administration problem. And, you look at how bad it's been so far with this border crisis. Now the Biden administration, they're going to eventually eventually end Title 42 in the coming weeks. They're going to end Remain in Mexico. And then the floodgates are really going to be open, I think. Well, I mean, how bad do you anticipate it will get before this administration actually takes some action?
They've effectively ended all the policies, even Remain in Mexico. The court asked to reinstate it. They rushed to the flawed Supreme Court to get out from under that regime and do everything they can to end it. Title 42, the same thing. Every chance they've gotten to bring integrity to the immigration system, to bring border security to those communities in this homeland, they've walked away from it. It's going to get much worse because everybody knows the clock is ticking. Nobody voted for this. It's time to vote again. Look what happened in South Texas. When they had a chance to put a strong borders person like Flores in office, they did it. Those are the people from South Texas. That seat was in Democrat hands for over 100 years. People know what's going on, and the people who have to live through it each and every day are the ones that know it the best. And the clock is ticking. This is going to get much worse because this administration has abandoned all of us.
That's a great point. Ron Vitello, so glad to have you here tonight. Thank you again.
Good to be with you. Thanks.